Hello there ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to another video. Now in this one I'll be showing you guys how to make a Magisk Flashable custom boot animation. Now this will work on any phone, and you just simply install it through Magisk and you'll be good to go. You can use anything you want for this. You can use a video, you can use pictures, you can use text even if you wanted to. So it'll work for everything basically. Now you're gonna need some files to set up. So first of all, if you head over to my Telegram group down in the description, and you should find this template.zip file. If you can't find it, just ask in the chat and I will send it to you. So what you're going to want to do is extract this. So just extract it to template, and I'll actually just create a new folder for this. So in this video I'll be making kind of like a matrix animation kind of thing. I'll probably show it off right now. If everything works okay, you should see it on screen or whatever. So anyway, we'll just call this matrix boot. And this is where we'll be working. So copy over your extracted template. And inside here, you will see a module.prop folder. You can open that up. And then here we can change the ID. So you can name this whatever you want. So I'll just call it matrix boot anim. And then the name, this is what's gonna show up as as the thing in Magisk in your Magisk module. So I'll just call it terminal heatsinks matrix boot animation. And then you can leave all the, so you can like change the author name, change it to whatever you want, it doesn't really matter. And here the description is will show up in the Magisk as well. So this will just be matrix boot animation, and then just kind of default. So save that, exit. Next, what you want to go into is system, product, media, and then here you have the boot animation. So this is where we'll be making it. So right click on this, extract to boot animation, and then just delete this zip since we don't need it anymore. Open it up and you'll see part 1, you'll see part 2, and then you'll see description.txt. Open up description, and over here you will need to put in your phone's resolution. So if you don't know what it is, just Google it. So I'm going to be using my Asus ROG Phone 2. So just scroll down where it says animation. So it's 1080 by 2340. Now you can make this smaller or bigger, but it will look best if it's exactly the same as your phone, basically. And this part here is just telling you how many frames per second your animation is. 30 is the highest you can go, and the lowest I think is 15, but just leave it at 30, it looks pretty good. And then these other parts, this basically means that whatever animation you have in part 1 will only play once, and then whatever animation you have on part 2 inside this part 2 folder will play infinitely until the phone like successfully boots. So what this normally is, part 1 is kind of like your main animation, and then part 2 is kind of like your logo pulsing or whatever. So that way it can keep pulsing until the phone loops and it like doesn't break the animation or whatever. So just leave those like this. And if you want to add more, so for example, if you want to add like a part, I don't know, 3 folder or something, so you do something like this. And then here you can like loop the second animation like 4 times, for example, if you wanted to. And then you'll obviously have to create a part 3 folder here, but since we aren't doing that, we'll just leave it like this. And if you don't want any kind of looping at the end, you can just delete this whole folder and set this to 0 so you can keep looping your animation. But I'll just leave it like this. So after that, close down that, and we can begin making our animation. So to do that, you can open up any video editor you want. Well, it should be a good one, because we are going to need to export as a PNG sequence, so some video editors might not do that. Now in my case, I'll be using After Effects, since it's easier than Premiere for these kind of things. So if you don't have After Effects, you can get like a student version for fairly cheaper. And so yeah, just download that, it'll be grand. It's a good program. So yeah, I'll do a new project, a new composition, and then here we want to set the width and height to whatever we had inside here, inside the description. So 1080 by 2340. So it's already 1080, and then the height is 2340, and set the frame rate to 30 FPS. And then here is how long do you want the animation. So in this case, we'll loop it for around 7 seconds, let's say. We can reduce or increase this later on, but for now, I'll just set it to like 7 seconds, it'll be grand. Then background color black, which is fine. Alright, so there we go. That's our phone here pretty much. So now what you want to do is just fill this out with whatever you want. In my case, I am going to import some matrix rainfall basically. So I'll just go to where I have my stuff. Matrix, and I'll do this one. Import that, drag it down here. So I just kind of want to get like the starting of the rain. Oh yeah, so there we go. Yeah, so like around here. Yeah, just a bit up. Yeah, so here is pretty good. I'll drag that and then drag this to the start. So there we go, and then I'll scale it up as well. So yeah, this is kind of what we want. And then at the end, we would want to, like around here, we'd want to introduce a logo or whatever. So here I'll do a new, or actually just a text object from here, and we'll kind of do it like in the middle here. And I'll type in, let's say, enter the rug, and then obviously make it a little bit bigger. So that'll be the parts here on the side, and change the font to my matrix font, like so. And then make it bigger still. What was that on 60, 72? Alright, so it needs to be a bit bigger. And needs to be in the middle as well. Or fuck it, it's fine here. So I'll increase this text box. And then make the text bigger again. Like so. And then I'll just put in like some spaces here. Enter the rug. And then I will also change the color to some kind of green. Yeah, like that's a good green. And then we can like apply a mask to this and then animate the mask as well. So we can start it from, say, around here. Mask, new mask. Then open up the mask properties. And we want to animate the mask path. And so at the very end, we want the mask to look like this. And then at the very start, we want the mask path to basically like cover this whole thing. Like so. And then when we play this, it should look like that. So yeah, then maybe we can reverse the rain as well. So let us duplicate this layer. Oops, the wrong one. Let's duplicate this layer. And then we should be able to reverse it somehow. Transform time. Yeah, time reverse layer. Or fuck it. We won't bother with that. And then we can introduce a black layer, so solid. Let's do, yeah, solid black. And then we'll do a mask for this as well. And so or we can actually increase the opacity of this. Yeah, so at the start, then around here when the text comes in, we'll start decreasing the opacity. So over here, open it up, go to transform, go to opacity, set it to that, move a keyframe all the way to the bottom, set another keyframe, set this to 0. Oh wait, the other way around, sorry. So on this one, it needs to be 0. And then on the last one, it needs to be 100. So yeah, there we go. Then it kind of like fades in. So that's this composition done. Now we just need to do the loop. So all we can do is copy and paste the composition. We can rename this to part 2. and then open it up. And in this one, we don't need this and we don't need that. We just need the text. And we can delete the mask as well, so that way we can see it. And then this composition will be very short. It will be, let's say, like half a second, or maybe 1 second. Yeah, let's do it 1 second. And so we'll add a, new adjustment layer. Then we'll add some kind of glow or something. Let's see, what do we have here? Yeah, actually what we can do is duplicate this, and on this we can add an effect of where was it, the blur. So let's do radial blur, amount of, oh yeah, that looks pretty cool. Yeah, so this is actually the animation that we'll do. Let's see, the center, we would probably want it to be here. Yeah. So we'll just animate the amount. So first the amount will be 0. So I'll put a keyframe. Then you can see the effects here. See radial blur, amount. Then we want to go to the end and put the keyframe there as well. And then we want to go to the middle. So since this is 1 second, the middle is 15. And then we'll add an amount of like so. So now if we play the animation, and actually we can get rid of this one and see how that looks like. Yeah, that looks pretty cool, I think. So we'll leave that as part 2. Alright, so anyway, let's save this composition or this project. I am going to save it to matrix boot and then just call it matrix. Save it. And then what you want to do is go back to control, and on the first composition you want to select it, file, and then export, and then add to render queue. This will bring up this result here. Now what you want to do is select the output mode, and you want to select a PNG sequence, and then just click OK. And then here in the output 2, select where you want to output your folders to. So I will make a new folder. I'll just call it out PNG, and then we'll call this part 1. And for this, change the name here so it's like this with 3 hashtags, and click on and save in subfolder as well. Save that, and then click on part 2 composition, and then export, add to render queue. Then same thing here, we want to select a PNG sequence, press OK, then output to, so we want to output to out part 2, and then just get rid of that, click save, and then over here click render, and it should render both of them. So we can actually see the matrix animation here. going down. So it looks pretty good, I can tell you that now. Then we should see our text popping in soon. Yeah, there we go. And then this is the second part of the animation, which will keep looping until the phone fully reboots. And there we go, we are finished. So we can save the project once again, and then we can quit out of this. And so now what you want to do is open up your folder here. So matrix boot, out, and then here's part 1. And there's all of our images basically. So what you want to do is copy everything here into the template. So remember, we have the template, go into system, product, media, boot animation, and then in part 1, Control A to copy, Control A to select everything, Control C to copy, Control V to paste. So you should see them all here now, all 209 of them. And then go into part 2 and part 2 and Control All, or Control A, Control C, and then Control V back into here. So now we have everything we need to make the boot image. So we can close this. And now what you can do is inside here, select everything, right click, add to archive. Now this part is very important. Select .zip and select compression method store. Make sure you select compression method store, otherwise it won't work. So that's why I recommend you use WinRAR for this. Click OK. So now what you can do is click Control X. This will cut, go back, and then paste. And then delete this file here. So what you should have in your template is system, product, media, and then the boot animation.zip, and make sure it's spelled boot animation.zip as well. So once you have that, go back to your template, select everything, right click, add to archive, select zip, and here it doesn't matter which compression method you use, so just use normal, it's fine. And you want to select this, just like type whatever you want. So I'm just going to call it matrix boot animation. And click OK. And so that's your final animation. So what you want to do is get this over to your phone however you can. I'll be using a USB connection. So there we go, my phone just appeared here. Gonna open a new tab. And then just put it wherever you can find it. In my case, I'm gonna put it into downloads, flash, and then boot animation. And then matrix boot, copy. And then on your phone, hang on, let me change the, all right, there we go. Should be able to see better now. Then on your phone, what you want to go into is Magisk Manager. Then go to the very last section and make sure you have removed every other boot animation. So I have this one here, so just click remove. And then you want to click on install from package and then find your boot animation. As you can see, I have the matrix boot animation here, so I'm just going to click on that. It's going to extract, And then I'm gonna reboot, and we should see the matrix boot animation now. So on this phone, the animation actually starts after like kind of Asus logos and all that kind of shite. So so you should see it now after this if we did everything all right. Ah yeah, there we go. You can see it's very clear. Well, on my, like, to me it's very clear, so that's pretty good. And then this will keep on looping until we're fully booted in. And as you can see, we're fully booted in right now. And yeah, that's how you make a custom animation. It's as easy as that. So yeah, I'll leave this custom animation thingy and the template in my Telegram group. So you should be able to find it. If you don't, once again, you can just ask in the group, just type @terminal heatsink. I want to make a custom boot or whatever. Please send files, and I'll do that. And so yeah, thanks for watching, and bye bye.